Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you're new. I'm Manganet, and on today's video I'm gonna teach you how you can record good quality content videos for YouTube using only your smartphone. Lots of people ask me all the time which camera do I use to record my videos for YouTube, and most of them get shocked when I tell them I use my phone. Yes, I use my phone. I've always used my phone ever since I'm on YouTube. And how long have I been on YouTube? For like 4 years. I don't even know. 3 years, 3.5? I don't know. Over 3 years, I think. So what I'm trying to show you is that you don't need a fancy camera to record videos for YouTube. All you need is a few tips and techniques, and then you need to edit your videos. But that's a discussion for another video. So today, let me show you how you can have good quality picture and sound quality on your videos using only your phone. Now keep in mind that I don't edit my videos using my phone. I know it's possible to do that, there's a few apps, but I use my computer. So if you want to see a video on how I edit my videos and which software do I use, and again some of the tips and techniques that work pretty much on any editing program, then let me know and I'll make that video. But today we're focusing only on the recording settings itself. So the first thing you want to do is obviously you need a tripod. Now, do you need a tripod? No, you can probably just bump up a bunch of books against like the laptop so you can recline the lid of the laptop and adjust the angle. But get a tripod, it's not that expensive. When I first started, I had one of those monkey tripods, which is the really short ones that have bendy legs. And I used to attach that to the corner of a mirror, like a desk mirror. So I would have the mirror to see myself and the camera right there. Also, when I first started, I used to use the internal camera, like the front-facing camera of my phone. And that's the worst mistake you can do. Because first of all, the quality won't be as good, and second, you will feel tempted to look at the screen instead of looking directly to the camera. So instead of looking like this and feel like you're talking to your audience, you'll be looking like this to where the screen would be. Obviously, I don't have the phone facing that direction, but if the screen will be there, that's where you'd be looking, and you might think it doesn't make a difference, but it does. Another thing it's important to mention is that you need to be recording using the correct size and the correct settings of your phone. When I first started the channel, like I said, I was using the internal camera. Worst mistake. Let's move on a few months when I discovered that it's better to use the back-facing camera. Discovery of the century. So once you're using the main camera of your phone, you need to make sure you have your video definitions, the settings set for the correct resolution. Because sometimes on the automatic settings, you will have it set for a lower quality, so it takes less space, but it also means less picture quality. So go on the settings of your phone. These are the settings of my phone. I'm just showing you quickly. I have all these dimensions and all these picture quality, and as you can see, most of them are 16:9, but others are not. You want to use the 16:9 ones because that's the size of a YouTube video. So if you don't have it set on the 16:9, then you will have some black bars either on top or on the sides, and you don't want that. And as you can see, my phone does record in 4K, so I do record all my videos in 4K, except if I'm recording something that lasts for ages, one of the cleaning videos or cooking videos, something that I will be recording for ages, then I will use the 16:9 but on 1080p instead, because it lowers the quality a little bit. It's still high definition, but the recording is going to be super far away anyway, so you don't really need to record in 4K. And on those situations, I do think it's okay to compromise the quality a little bit. But if you're talking to your camera like I'm doing right now, then my advice is use the highest possible quality. If you have a phone that records in 4K, then don't be afraid and use it. Most phones that came out in the last year and a half will record in 4K. So if you have an older phone, you might not have that setting, but still use the best setting that your phone allows. So now you have your phone camera set in the correct dimension, the correct resolution, you have the phone on your tripod. What's the next step? You need to record landscape mode. Again, we're talking for YouTube. If you're recording for Instagram, for instance, you might want to record in the portrait orientation, but I'm focusing on YouTube because that's the platform that I use. You're going to set it on landscape mode on your tripod, and now you need to find a good background. What is a good background, you may ask? It's pretty much anything that is not cluttered. Like you see, right now I'm recording on my bed. I'm on the corner of the bed and you can see the rest of the bed behind me. I don't always record here. Usually I will record on the front room. I sit on the floor and I just make sure there's not a huge mess behind me. If it's a vlog, I don't really mind showing messes behind because it's real life, but if it's a sit down and talk video, I do think it's important to have a nice background and to look somehow presentable for the camera as well. One thing that is really important to mention is the angle where you're recording at. And this might be the trickiest part of recording with a phone, because obviously you cannot see the screen, so you cannot see exactly what's the orientation of the footage. So when you're first starting, my advice is to record a few test clips. Set the phone, press record, do like test, 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 1, 2, 3, test, 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 and then stop the recording and look at the footage and see where in the picture are you. Are you too high, too low, too close, too far away? Just see where in the picture are you, change what you need to change, press the record and go again, 1, 2, 3, test, 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 blah, blah, blah. Stop the footage, look at it and evaluate. Once you're happy with it, then you're ready to start recording your video. Another thing that is very important when you're recording, especially given that you don't have a screen to see yourself, is that you need to keep eye contact with the camera. I know in the beginning is really weird, you're literally looking at a square or a circle or something, and it makes you feel really weird because there's nothing there. At least when there's a screen, you can like pretend you're talking to yourself, and in this case you're literally talking to a black square. So it might be very difficult, but try and keep eye contact as much as possible. When you do need a little break from eye contact, then just look to the side for a few seconds and then back to the camera. And that makes the footage feel more realistic because no one is staring at the other person the entire time of a conversation. People do move their head around and look around. So just make it natural like you were if you were talking to someone else. Regarding where you should position yourself in the camera, my advice is that you should be somehow centered. Get a tripod that somehow you can regulate the angle of the camera. And by that, I mean this. Put it either down or up. Most people will set the camera somehow like this, I guess. Again, it's hard for me to see because I don't have the screen right now, but most people will tend to put their heads right in the center of the footage. I don't think that's the most comfortable angle to look at someone. I rather tilt it back a little bit, or down in this case, and put my head towards the top of the screen. So then you have my head not in the center of the screen, but towards the top, and you still see my shoulders and you see my hands when I move them, and I do use my hands a lot when I'm gesturing. That's another advice, is don't be a robot. Don't stand like this and talk with zero hand motions, and like don't shake at all and just keep eye contact. Don't fluctuate the tone of your voice because again, no one really talks like that. So be natural. If you are someone who speaks with your hands a lot, then do it. I do tend to clap a lot, which is something I've been trying to work on because I hate when I'm editing. It drives me crazy having to cut all those claps because why would you do that? But that's for another video. Those are the techniques for editing and tips and things that you should look out for when you're editing. But when you're recording, just be natural, look at the camera. And again, don't put your head right in the middle of the scene, because then you'll have a bunch of space between your head and the top of the frame, and that just looks very odd, especially if you cannot see your shoulders, if you see like from your chin or like the bottom of your neck all the way up, and it's just like, oh, it just looks odd, trust me. Another thing is that you cannot be super miles far away from the camera, because again, it will look very odd if you can see like your whole body. We don't need to see your whole body. I mean, if you're just doing a sit-down talk video, that's what I mean. Obviously, if you're doing something else, then we might need to see your whole body. But if you're just talking to the camera about a subject, we need to see your face, we need to see your eyes, we need to see your lips moving and your hands doing what hands do. So don't put your camera super, super far away. Again, this depends on each camera, because each camera will have their own zooming definitions. I'm sure there's a proper name for this, but I'm not into camera settings things, so I don't really know the technical terms for these things. But basically, some cameras, when they're on video, they will really zoom in the picture, like mine does that a little bit, and others are just like very wide. So that's another thing that you should look out for when you're doing the little test videos that I mentioned earlier. Just make sure you're not super far away from the picture. Like right now, as a point of reference for you guys, my phone is exactly 1 arm length away. Like if I move forward a little bit, I'll touch the camera. So it's 1 length of an arm is how far away the camera is from me. And that also helps with the sound quality, because we're talking about recording with your phone and only your phone. So obviously you can add a microphone, which will help the sound quality. But if you don't have one, if you're just starting and you don't really want to invest any money in things, then you don't really need a microphone. So one thing that really helps with that is not being miles away from your phone. Be close enough for the phone to be able to capture your beautiful voice. And obviously, don't whisper, because if you talk like this, there's no amount of editing that will make your voice sound loud enough. So be confident in what you're saying, talk loudly, and make sure the phone is recording all those beautiful waves of the sound. Obviously, in editing, you can correct the volume of the sound, and that is something that is also very important. Make sure the sound is not even too loud or too low, and we can talk about that on a future video about editing. Lighting. Lighting is very important, and lights are not as expensive as most people think. I do have a studio light that I will use mostly if I'm recording at night, and again, it's not that expensive. The worst part about a studio light is that it takes so much space in the house. Like, it's ridiculous. That thing is humongous, but the light is amazing. But do you need one? No. Again, you could have one. That's probably the thing that I would prioritize. Before buying a good camera or before even buying a microphone, I would prioritize buying a studio light. Just because it's a white neutral light that just illuminates not only you but the whole room as well, and because it's a white light, it makes it much easier on editing to change the levels of the color, make it warmer, make it colder. But again, that's a topic for another video. If you don't have a light yet, or you don't want to buy one for any reason, then make sure you have enough and plenty of natural lighting around you. Like right now, there's a big window right next to me. It's not on the other side of the room. When I'm recording on the front room in the floor, I'm sitting in front of the window. What bothers the viewers is like if the sun is shining right in your face, or if it's hitting the camera lens on the side, it will make a weird blur thing around, that light blur that cameras do. So make sure there's no direct sun rays hitting you. I live in the UK, so I don't really have that problem, to be fair. Also, like I said, you need to be in front of the window, not with the window behind you, because if the window is behind you, your face is gonna be super, super, super dark. So be in front of the window, or if for some reason you cannot position yourself in front of the window because there's furniture or something, then just don't record with the window, because the worst thing you can do is having the window behind you. Trust me, don't do that, don't do that. The last thing I want to mention about recording with your phone is something that for months I kept forgetting it. Like, I would do it every now and then, but I would forget it all the time, and you can see that in a bunch of my videos, which is you need to make sure that the sound and also the vibration of your phone is off. If someone texts you, you will hear the of your phone, and so many of my videos have that. As much as possible, I would try and cut that in the editing program, but sometimes it would happen right in the middle of a sentence and I didn't repeat that sentence to be able to cut it, so I would have to leave it be or ignore the whole sentence. So it's not always possible to cut that, which means the easiest way of avoiding that is just make sure there's no sounds and no vibration on your phone while you're recording. And finally, you need to make sure your phone has enough storage to record a video. Then again, this depends on the phone you have, because obviously some phones have much more storage than others. One way of you making sure that your phone has enough storage is don't keep everything on your phone. Now, I have an Android, so I'm not really sure how it works in the iPhone. I know there's a cloud service in the iPhone as well, and you can send things to there, but then the cloud is always full. I don't know how it works. So if you do have an iPhone, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to look into someone else's video to find out how to release space on your Apple phone. But if you do have an Android phone, or I think you can even make this work on iPhone, but again, don't quote me. All you have to do is you use your Google Photos app. And that's what I mean. I think it works on iPhone as long as you install the app, but on Android, it already comes with your phone. Basically what you do is that you have that app and you turn on the auto sync backup thing here, this thing that I'm showing you on the screen. You turn it on, and every time you take a picture or a video or something, it will back up everything automatically for free for the Google Cloud, which means that once it's there, you can delete it from your phone. But you might want to access those files later on, and if you actually delete them from the phone, then they are gone. So don't do that. What you do is that once the backup is synchronized and done and all that, every few days, you just go onto the settings. Here on the side, you press those 3 bars and then you click free up space. And what this is going to do is that your phone is going to automatically see which files, videos, photos, everything, what has been synchronized to the cloud already. And then it will say, would you like to free up X amount of space? And you press yes. And it clears the data, the cache. Again, I don't really know the technical terms for this, but basically it cleans the memory of that photo from your phone. But when you go on the folder of the photos on your phone, it's still there. So if you press it, it will say downloading, which means it's downloading the information of that photo from the cloud and it will show you on the phone. So basically you can still access everything. It's just not immediately there. It's not taking all the space on your phone. I hope I explained myself correctly on this. Basically, you just press the free up space and that is it. And then everything is on your phone, but not really, which is great. And that's how I make sure I always have plenty of space on my phone. I feel like this video is full of information and just things that I'm throwing right into your face, and it might be a bit overwhelming. So I'm gonna shut up for now. I think these are the main tricks and tips that I can give you on recording on your phone. Again, I've been doing this for many years. I've always recorded on my phone on this channel, so every single video that you click on, it will have been recorded on my phone. I don't want to claim that I'm an expert on this, but I kind of am. Let me know in the comments if you found this useful, and if you have any questions that I haven't touched, let me know as well. And let me know if you'd like to see the video on how to edit your videos and how to, after this process of recording that takes forever, how to make that into a pleasant to watch, nice, flowing video. Let me know all those things in the comments, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye!